Down! I yanked Zara behind a concrete pillar as sparks rained from the ceiling. Bright, hate-filled embers that smelled like plastic and panic. The whole third floor was filling with smoke. 2 electricians were trapped near the breaker room, and the fire alarm was screaming loud enough to wake the dead. Zara's eyes were wide, her hand gripping mine so tight I thought my fingers might snap off. "Kian, we have to go now," she yelled over the chaos. But I couldn't leave those men. Not when I saw the red emergency box on the wall, the one with my father's company logo stamped right on it, the one I'd seen in 100 blueprints spread across our dining room table. She just didn't know that yet. Let me back up. 3 months earlier, I was swiping through my phone at 2 a.m., dating app messages from women asking about my car before my name. Party photos where everyone smiled at my wallet, not my face. A text from my father. Board meeting Tuesday. Bring a suitable companion, or we'll arrange one. My father walked into my penthouse without knocking. He never knocked. "Kian, the press event is in 2 weeks," he said. "I need you there with someone respectable. The board thinks you're a liability. I'm not bringing a stranger to smile for cameras, Dad." "Then find someone real," he shot back. "But find someone fast. Your lifestyle is becoming a problem for the company." That night, I made a decision that would ruin everything. Our company was building a new headquarters downtown. Construction was almost done, but they needed night security. I called the hiring manager and had him add one more name to the roster under a fake ID. 2 days later, I showed up as Kian Ross, night security guard, thrift store uniform, a flashlight that kept dying. The site manager, Pete, handed me a clipboard without looking up. "Patrol floors 1 through 5 every hour. Don't touch nothing. Don't break nothing. And don't bother Zara. She's got enough problems." "Who's Zara?" He pointed across the lobby. I turned and saw her for the first time. She was pushing a cleaning cart, moving with the kind of efficiency that comes from doing the same job 1,000 times. Natural hair pulled back. Work boots with duct tape on one sole. A face that looked like it had run out of patience 3 years ago. She looked up, caught me staring, and frowned. "Can I help you?" she called out, pulling out one earbud. No. Sorry. I'm new. Just learning the layout." She looked me up and down like I was a health code violation. "You stand like someone else paid to carry you. Watch the steps and the talk." My stomach dropped. "What?" "Your posture. You move like someone who's never been told to hurry up." She went back to her cart. "But whatever. Just stay out of my way." I spent the next hour checking every window reflection. Did I really look that obvious? I tried slouching. I tried walking faster. I probably looked ridiculous. Around midnight, I got lost on the 4th floor, completely turned around. I ended up in a supply closet, surrounded by mops and my own stupidity. "You lost, new guy?" I jumped. Zara was in the doorway, arms crossed. Maybe, you're 2 floors off your route." She shook her head. "How'd you even pass the interview?" I needed the work, really needed it. She studied me for a long moment. "Yeah? What happened? Trust fund parents finally cut the cord." Something like that. It wasn't completely a lie. She sighed. "Come on, I'll show you once. But I'm not doing this every night." As we walked, she explained the building like she'd built it herself. I tried to take notes, but mostly I was watching her, the way she knew exactly where every breaker was, the way she didn't waste a single movement. "You study?" I asked, noticing the engineering textbook in her bag. "Night classes when I can afford them. Try and get my diploma." She glanced at me. "What about you?" "College dropout." I had 2 engineering degrees from schools that cost more per year than most people made. Something like that. Let me guess. Partied too much. I wanted to tell her I'd never been to a real party in my life. Just networking events disguised as celebrations. Instead, I shrugged. "I'm figuring things out." I said, "Aren't we all?" She stopped at a door marked electrical. "Authorized personnel only." "Don't go in there. Ever. The wiring's messed up, and they haven't fixed it yet. Last thing I need is scraping you off the floor. Noted. She turned to leave, then paused. And Kian? Stop looking so terrified. It's just a job. You're not performing surgery. If only she knew how much I was hiding. Over the next few weeks, I learned to fake being normal. I burned instant coffee twice before getting it right. I forgot to clock in 4 times. I brought fancy sandwiches until Zara roasted me so hard I switched to gas station food, which I also couldn't eat because it turned out I'd never actually had gas station food before, and it showed. "Is that prosciutto?" she asked one night, looking at my sandwich. "No. Kian, that's literally Italian cured meat on artisan bread." I thought it was just ham. She laughed. First time I'd heard it. "You're so weird. Where are you even getting money for that?" "Panic. Savings. From before." "Before what?" "Before I needed this job." "Right." She didn't look convinced. Because savings definitely stretched to fancy lunch meat. That became our thing. Late night talks during breaks. She'd study while I pretended to read security manuals I'd actually help write. Sometimes she'd tell me about her dream. Building affordable housing that didn't look like punishment. Making neighborhoods that worked for real people. "Nobody cares, though," she said one night, frustrated. "Rich developers want luxury condos. Poor people need housing, but there's no profit, so nothing changes. What if someone funded it? Like a grant? Grants don't go to janitors, Kian. They go to people with connections. Rich kids who already have everything." She looked tired. "That's the system. Money goes to money. The rest of us just survive." I wanted to tell her everything right then, but I knew what would happen. She'd leave. She'd think I was mocking her. She'd be right, too. So I stayed quiet. Around week 6, I overheard her on the phone during break. Her voice cracked in a way I'd never heard before. "Mom, I'll figure out." "No, I can't ask them, because I don't want to owe anyone. I'll get extra shifts." After she hung up, she just sat there with her head down. "Everything okay?" I asked. "I'm fine." "Zara." I said I'm fine. She stood up fast. "Not everyone gets to play pretend. Kian, some of us have actual problems." The words landed like a punch. She thought I was just some rich kid slumming it. She was right. I could leave tomorrow. She couldn't. "I'm sorry," I said. "For what?" "You didn't do anything." She grabbed her bag. "I'm just tired." That night, I did something stupid. I had my accountant pay her rent for 3 months through a fake community program. I knew it was risky. I knew it could expose me. But watching her stress was worse. Next week, she practically floated into work. "Kian, something crazy happened. Some program paid my rent. 3 months. I didn't even apply." She was glowing. "I can take 2 extra classes now. I might graduate on time." Seeing her happy made everything worth it. But the lie got heavier every single day. Then everything started falling apart in slow motion. It started with a security audit. I didn't know about it because, obviously, I wasn't supposed to be there. The company was doing random checks before the building opened, and someone flagged unauthorized personnel access on the night logs. Pete mentioned it casually one evening. Corporates asking questions about the security team, making sure everyone's legit. "You got all your paperwork in order, right?" My blood went cold. "Yeah, all good." "Cool. They're just being weird about the opening. Big press event coming up." I should have left right then. Should have quit and disappeared. But I couldn't. Not yet. Not when Zara and I were finally becoming real friends. Not when she was starting to trust me. One night, she showed me her project plans. Full architectural drawings for a sustainable housing complex. Solar panels. Rainwater collection. Modular design to keep costs down. "This is incredible," I said, and I meant it. "Zara, this would actually work." "Could, but won't." She rolled up the papers. "Because I don't have funding. I don't have connections. I don't have a fancy name that opens doors. What if you presented it somewhere? Like a city council meeting?" She laughed, but was bitter. "And say what?" "Hi, I'm a janitor with half a diploma. Please give me millions of dollars?" That's not how the world works. Maybe it should. Maybe, but it doesn't. She looked at me. You're sweet, Kian. Naive, but sweet. You still think hard work and good ideas matter. They don't. Money matters. Names matter. Everything else is just noise. I wanted to prove her wrong, so badly it hurt. The next week, I started going to city planning meetings. Not as Kian Zhou, just as some guy in the back row, taking notes. I listened to community members beg for affordable housing. I watched developers shut them down with legal jargon. I saw how the system was rigged at every level. One woman stood up and said, "My rent went up 40% in 2 years. Where am I supposed to go?" The developer's lawyer said, "Market forces dictate pricing. We can't subsidize housing at a loss." I wanted to stand up and scream, "Yes, you can. I've seen the numbers. You're choosing not to." But I didn't, because that would blow everything. After the meeting, an older man stopped me in the parking lot. "You new to these meetings?" "Yeah, just try to understand how things work. They work for people with money. Everyone else gets speeches about market forces." He handed me a flyer. "We're organizing a community group. People who actually live here. If you care, show up." I took the flyer. I knew I couldn't go, but I kept it anyway. At work, things were getting complicated. Zara's second job cut her hours, and even with the rent money, she was struggling. I watched her eat vending machine dinners and fall asleep over textbooks. I wanted to help so badly, but every time I tried, she'd shut me down. "I don't need charity, Kian." "It's not charity. It's charity, and I don't take handouts." She looked at me hard. "That's the difference between people like you and people like me. You think money solves everything. We know it just creates debts. People like me, people who've never actually been broke. You're playing at poverty. I'm living it. Don't confuse the two." She didn't know how right she was. Then came the night of the fire. It was a Thursday. Quiet shift. Zara was on the second floor. I was doing rounds. That's when I smelled burning plastic. My heart stopped. I knew that smell. Electrical fire. I ran toward it. Third floor. East wing. The room Zara had warned me about. Smoke was pouring out. I grabbed my radio. "Zara, fire. Third floor. Get out now." Static. Then her voice. "Kian, where are you? Just get out." But then I heard them. 2 voices inside the electrical room. Yelling. Coughing. "Help." Doors jammed. The electricians who'd been working late. They were trapped. I ran to the door. It was warped from heat, handle melted. Through the window, I could see them. One guy was down. The other was trying to drag him. Zara appeared beside me, breathing hard. "Kian, we have to leave right now. There are people inside. The fire department won't make it. That room has lithium battery storage. If those catch, the whole floor goes up." She stared. "How do you know that?" No time. I grabbed a fire extinguisher and slammed it against the door. The handle broke. I kicked the door open. Smoke poured out like something alive. "Stay low." I yelled. We went in together. The heat was crushing. I could barely see. But I knew where the emergency ventilation override was. I'd signed off on its placement 6 months ago. I felt along the wall, found the red box, and hit the switch. The fans kicked on. Some smoke cleared. We grabbed the electricians and dragged them to the hallway. The fire was spreading now, crawling up the walls like a living thing. "Move!" I pushed everyone toward the stairs. We made it outside just as sirens arrived. Paramedics took the electricians. Zara and I collapsed on the ground, coughing, covered in soot. She looked at me, really looked at me. "Kian, how did you know about the batteries? The override switch? The ventilation system?" My mind raced. I read about building codes. Before I dropped out. Engineering stuff. That wasn't reading. You moved through that room like you built it. "Zara, who are you really?" And that's when it all came crashing down. Not dramatically. Worse than that. A single phone started recording. One of the paramedics recognized me. He pulled out his phone, filming, and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "Wait! That's Kian Zhou, the billionaire's son." Everything stopped. Zara stood up slowly. "What?" The paramedic kept filming. "Dude, what are you doing here? Does your dad know you're playing security guard?" Other phones came out. People started gathering. "Is this for a show?" someone asked. "Is this some rich kid experiment?" Another voice called. Zara was staring at me. Not angry yet, just confused. "Kian, what are they talking about?" "Zara, I can explain." "Explain what?" "That your name isn't really Kian Ross." Her voice was quiet, deadly quiet. "That you're not actually broke? That this was all what? Research." "It wasn't like that." "Then what was it like?" Before I could answer, 3 black SUVs pulled up. My father got out of center one, flanked by security and a woman I recognized. Our PR director. "Kian." My father rushed over. "What happened?" "I heard there was a fire." The phones were all pointed at us now. Someone shouted, "Mr. Zhou, did you know your son was working undercover?" Zara stepped back from me like I was radioactive. "Zhou? Your last name is Zhou." "Zara, please." "You're that Kian Zhou?" Her voice cracked. "The one whose face is on the building? Whose family owns half the city?" The crowd pressed closer. Someone yelled, "Is this ethical? Having owners spy on workers?" My father's PR director stepped forward. Mr. Zhou was conducting independent research. Research? Zara cut her off. Her voice was loud now, shaking. "I'm research to you people." "No." I reached for her. "Zara, you're not." "Don't touch me." She looked at the cameras, the crowd, my father's expensive suit. "This is your world." I was just, what? Entertainment? A social experiment. My feelings were real. How would I even know? Tears were streaming down her face now. Everything else was fake. Why would your feelings be different? She turned and walked away. I tried to follow, but security blocked me. "Let her go, son," my father said quietly. "You've done enough damage." The video went viral in hours. Billionaire airs undercover experiment. The comments were vicious. People called me exploitative, predatory. Some said I should be investigated for labor violations. Others said I was just another rich kid playing games with poor people's lives. They were right. I tried calling Zara. Blocked. I tried texting. No response. I showed up at her apartment. She wouldn't open the door. "Go away, Kian. Please. 5 minutes." "No." "Then I'll wait." "Fine. I hope you like hallways." I sat down and started talking through the door. "You were right about everything. I was running from my fake life, so I created a fake new one. I lied to you. I used you, and I'm sorry it doesn't even start to cover it." Silence. "But Zara," "The person you met?" "That was me. Maybe the first time I was actually myself." More silence. "I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm just asking for a chance to prove I actually listened, that you changed me." The door opened. She stood there, eyes red, arms crossed. "How?" she asked. "What?" "How are you going to prove it? With money? Because that's what you people do. Throw money at problems." "I don't." "Good. Because I don't want it." She leaned against the frame. "You know what hurts most? I liked you. The clumsy security guard who couldn't make coffee without triggering the smoke alarm. I liked him, but he doesn't exist." "He does. I'm standing here." "No. You're a billionaire who was playing costume." "Zara, did you pay my rent? The anonymous program?" I couldn't lie anymore. "Yes." "Get out." I left. For 3 months, I didn't contact her. Instead, I did something different. I went to those city planning meetings. Not in the back row this time. Up front, identified, taking questions. Community members tore into me. "You think you can just show up now? Where were you when we needed you? This is just PR, right? Make yourself look good after that stunt." I took it. All of it. I listened. I wrote down names. I learned about real projects, real needs, real solutions. I joined the community organizing group. The same guy from the parking lot raised his eyebrows when I walked in. "You're that Joe kid?" "Yeah." "You here to take notes for your lawsuit defense?" "I'm here to help. If you'll let me." They didn't trust me. They shouldn't have. But they let me stay. I started small. Really small. There was a vacant lot the city wanted to sell to developers. The community wanted a park. I didn't throw money at it. I showed up to zoning hearings. I helped file paperwork. I got yelled at by city officials. I learned how slow and frustrating real change was. We lost that fight. The developers won. I came back anyway. One night, a woman named Ms. Patterson, the same one from that first meeting, cornered me. "Why are you still here? You lost." Rich people usually leave when they lose. Because this isn't about winning once. It's about showing up. She studied me. That girl, the janitor. This about her? It started that way. But no, not anymore. Good. Because we don't need saviors. We need partners who know how to shut up and work. I kept showing up. I attended meetings where people told me I was part of the problem. I took classes on zoning law and affordable housing policy. I worked with architects who design for people, not profit. My father was confused. "What are you doing, Kian?" "Something real." And the girl, this isn't about her anymore. It's about being someone worth forgiving. Then I got served with a lawsuit. A workers' rights group sued our company for my undercover stunt. They claimed it violated labor protections and created a hostile work environment. My father's lawyers wanted to settle quietly. "No," I said. "Let it go to mediation. Let them speak. I'll answer for what I did." The mediation was brutal. Workers talked about feeling violated, about not trusting management anymore, about wondering if every new hire was a spy. I apologized. Not a PR apology. A real one. I was wrong. I violated your trust and your space. I can't undo that, but I can make sure the company has real oversight, worker representation on hiring, independent ethics reviews, whatever you need. They didn't forgive me, but they accepted the changes. For months after the fire, I got a text from an unknown number. Construction site. Tonight, 9 p.m. Alone. Z. I showed up at 8:45, shaking. She arrived exactly at 9, walking through the now-finished lobby. "Nice building," she said, looking around. "You did good work." "Zara, I've been watching you. The meetings, the lawsuit, the community work." She crossed her arms. "Why didn't you announce it? Make it a big PR thing?" "Because that would have been about me. This needed to be about the work." "Who told you that?" "You did." She was quiet for a moment. "I got into a program. Full scholarship. Engineering. Everything I wanted." My heart jumped. "That's incredible." "It's your scholarship, isn't it?" I nodded. "You earned it. Every bit. I just made sure money wasn't the reason you couldn't do it. I almost turned it down. Because of you." "Why didn't you?" "Because I realize you're still an idiot. A privileged, clueless idiot who thought he could learn about real life in a few months." She stepped closer. "But you didn't make excuses. You didn't throw money at me to shut me up. You actually changed. You're still changing." "I'm trying." "Good. Because I'm not dating some rich boy who thinks he knows everything." She almost smiled. "But I might date a formerly clueless billionaire who's trying really hard not to be terrible." "Might." "You're on probation, Kian Zhou. One moment of, let me buy you something because I'm rich. We're done." I laughed. "What about a really small thing? Like a candy bar?" "Still an idiot." She kissed me. Right there in the lobby where we met. When we pulled apart, I had one more thing to say. "When you graduate, I want to hire you. Not as a favor. As co-director of a new affordable housing division. Equal power. Equal say. You keep me honest. I provide resources. But with one condition." She raised an eyebrow. "What condition?" "Independent community oversight. A board that can overrule both of us if we mess up. Because you were right. Money without accountability just creates more problems." She looked at me for a long time. What's the pay? Whatever's fair for the role. Market rate, not a penny more. Good answer. She kissed me again. You're learning. Hit subscribe if you want more stories like this. Drop a comment if you think Kian deserved a second chance, or if Zara should have made him sweat longer.